Hello and welcome, future students of whatever year you're in. As someone who's just finished their final year of schooling, I thought I'd just jump on here and give you some tips and tricks for your upcoming modern history exam on the year of 2020. So let's start with a bit of context. December 2019, the world is shocked when the President of the United States is impeached. Sorry, can we just put a quick asterisk on the term impeach? They started to impeach him. It was a good try. Point being, one side couldn't convince the other side that their hero was evil and was disgusting and never did anything right, and everyone who associates with him is evil and stupid and disgusting. Surprisingly enough, that argument didn't work. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to the start of 2020. So firstly, Australia caught on fire, resulting in the capital sitting have the worst air pollution in the entire world. Yeah, take that, China. Then the US took out one of Iran's top military leaders, and yeah, he was a dick. But whose military leader isn't a dick? And, probably the most famous prince and princesses of the English royal family just left. They just left. By the way, this all happened within 2 weeks of 2020. You should probably get a pen and paper out. January 27th, Kobe Bryant dies in a tragic helicopter crash with his daughter inside. Horrific story, but it probably won't come up in the test. January 31st, and the UK officially leaves the EU. Kind of. Bit of a quick history lesson here. Back in 2016, the UK holds a vote, and with a small majority margin, the UK leaves the EU. What's the EU? Fucking Google it, alright? However, it turns out leaving an agreement with multiple countries and thousands of laws all interlocking, it's actually kind of hard. So the UK just keeps pushing the leaving date down the road until eventually on January 31st they leave, but then ask for an 11-month transition period. They've left in the same way your dad has. Mentally, they're out of there, and they've basically got a foot out the door, but there's still a few loose ends to tie up. February 6th, and the most obvious thing in the world happened. Donald Trump was acquitted, seeing his approval rating shoot to record highs. I'm sure that's what the Democrats were aiming for. Now, February was actually quite a pleasant month, honestly. Personally, I spent my time in a mosh pit, dancing shoulder to shoulder with tens of thousands of teens from all across the state. I mean, it was a rough start to the year, and we all just thought, what more could possibly go wrong?
The devastation from coronavirus is starting to set in now.
Yes, the one and only COVID-19. And yes, we know the thing that ruined 2020 is called COVID-19, but hey, you gotta have some trick questions. Quick rundown of the virus. December 1st, some bloke in Wuhan tests positive for it. China isn't able to contain the virus and protect other countries. And the virus jumps from Asian country to Asian country before going on a gap year all around the world. I cannot describe to you how mental COVID was. Look, the lockdowns were the right thing to do, don't get me wrong, but this virus has shown if the government wants to imprison you in your home for an unspecified amount of time, they can do that. To say the virus threw a spanner in the works is so understated it's wrong. This would be like if I knocked you out with a spanner and left you naked in the outback. When we went into lockdown, there was this kind of idea like, let's just bunker down, let's learn some new skills, and then we'll come out in a month. Yeah, nah. See, the lockdown isn't the scary part. The scary part is going back into lockdown. You know that scene in movies where the good guys have to slowly move away from the big bad thing? That's what loosening COVID restrictions felt like. This just constant pressure of COVID finally broke when on May the 31st, footage of a black man being suffocated to death by a police officer was posted online, and the Americans just went berserk. All throughout June, protesters in all 50 states headed to the streets and essentially told the police force to go fuck themselves. Okay, that's a bit overdramatic, but it doesn't matter how worthy your cause is, there's still a bunch of people on the streets, and well, guess what happened? July was a bit more uplifting though. I mean, we all kind of figured out what a COVID normal was. I mean, you could go out with your mates, but you had to be checked in at every location you went to and socially distant, and even still, a second wave came in and just ruined everything. It was the light at the end of the tunnel, which turned out to be an oncoming train. September 18th, and the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died, meaning that Trump gets to appoint his very own Supreme Court pick, giving his side of politics a 6-3 majority. Why was this so critical for Trump, you ask? Well, as Mickey Mouse would say, it's a surprise tool that'll help us later. In completely unrelated matters, the first presidential debate happened. That was my highlight of the year, I can't lie. Basically, Donald spent the entire debate just interrupting and roasting his opponent. Meanwhile, Joe Biden described his campaign platform of having a different name than Donald J. Trump. Exactly 3 days after the debates on October the 2nd, Donald J. Trump is diagnosed with COVID-19. And not a single person felt bad for him. I mean, it's just the perfect punchline, isn't it? The guy who said the virus would disappear like a miracle, and the one who's going on about injecting bleach, he's the one who gets it. It's just fate, really, isn't it? Election Day 2020 is started on November 3rd and lasts for an eternity. 102 million postal votes are submitted in this election. Probably wasn't a good idea to call them fake, was it, Donnie? Trump takes an early lead in the count and calls dibs on the presidency, but then Biden slowly catches up when all the mail-ins are counted and is declared president-elect. Trump graciously accepts this advice and tells him to meet him in court. The courts get back to him, and even with his 6-3 majority, they throw out his case to overturn the mail votes, leaving Joe Biden as the president-elect. But in what truly is quite inspirational news, there's a vaccine. There's the Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, and the Russian vaccine, which they haven't released any of their data, so I'm just going to assume it's just straight vodka. And now it's December. I'm filming this in Sydney, Australia, where the state has just come under lockdown just in time for Christmas, which is great. Will Donald Trump start a war? Will the COVID vaccine mean I get to grow a third limb? If there's anything I've learned from this year, is don't hope for the future, because God will shit on you like it's curry night. So I hope this helps in your test. Just some other things I wanted to add. I know you lot think it's funny that we all went for the toilet paper when shit hit the fan. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to be in the shower scraping shit out of my ass. I know this probably isn't in your history books, but we had this really fun trend of doing these like social media challenges and then just expecting they would solve these really complex social issues. Like we would just post a black square and we thought that would solve racism. I don't know why. And then like some celebrities just started singing and that was supposed to cure COVID. It was so stupid. Oh, and lastly, if another person describes this year as an emotional roller coaster, I'm gonna hit them. Anyway, have a good one, and just remember, fact checking's for old people, and you should trust everything I say.